said, this is a necessity, this is a need, just like eating and drinking. Sometimes the necessity is due to an organ necessity, meaning that I am hungry because my stomach is empty. Once I eat and my stomach is full, at that time, can I eat anymore? No. Some of us, even if they see a food, they will throw up. Why? Because this organ has been filled up. Sometimes the need has nothing to do with the organ, has nothing to do with the body. The need is a soul need, the spirit. The spirit always wants. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi has a very beautiful saying. It says, "Man humani la yashba'an, talibu ilman wa talibu mal." There are two people that are hungry all the time. They never fill up their stomach. They're never fed up with anything. Who? The one who's after knowledge. The more knowledge you will give him, the more he wants. The second one is the guy who's after money. The more money you give him, the more he wants. You give him $100,000, he tells you where's the 1 million. You give him 1 million, tells you where's the 1 billion. Always after money. Those have nothing to do with their bodies or the organs in their bodies. The problem is with their soul, with their spirit. Their spirit is hungry. The same thing, brothers and sisters. The man, when one woman at his disposal, he has certain desires. But if you make 10 women at his disposal, his desire will go 10 times more. The one who has 10 women in his disposal, his desires are much more than the guy who has 1 woman. And the guy who is exposed to 100 women, his desire is more than the guy who is exposed to 10 women. Therefore, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said there should be a boundary. Keep between the two. By what? By hijab. Those who tell you that this is a denigration, for example, for women, polygamy is denigration to women, that is you're dealing injustice to women by having multiple wives, we said, okay, beautiful. You say that multiple wives is considered to be denigration. But in this society, someone who's married and he goes and cheats and has marital infidelity, what does the law do to him? Does anybody can stop him from doing this? No. He's free to do whatever he wants. That's what happened a few years to the US president. He denigrated his wife. He denigrated the other lady, yet he was not punished. So Islam, when tells you there is a polygamy, there are multiple wives, if somebody trespasses, then there would be a punishment for him. But in this society, tells you no, do not have, and by the way, I'm not advocating multiple marriages. Don't get me wrong on this. What I am saying is that those people came and forbid those laws, the Islamic laws, but they fall into another trap. And the trap is this: the guy doesn't have to get married anymore. He can go out and do whatever, fool around and enjoy himself without any punishment. Nobody can stop him. Is that good for women? That is not considered to be a denigration to women? While somebody else marries another woman, a second wife, but at the same time treat her as a human, as wife. This is my wife. But the guy who's married here in this society and can go and have another one, would he say that she's my wife? No. Once he sees somebody is passing by, he runs away. Why? Because he doesn't want people to see him with her. Isn't that a denigration to women? So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has established the rule, He didn't mean that you gotta go and do it, but He put those rules to prevent from a bigger mistake, from a bigger disaster. And Quran never, Islam never tell women you should not proceed. In fact, have said, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa has said in many incidents that women should seek knowledge. طلب العلم فريضة على كل مسلم ومسلم. Go learn. For the highest position, go apply. Go work so hard. Even when it comes to bay'ah. Bay'ah meaning that you vote. You cast your vote at that time, 1400 years ago. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells His Prophet, oh the Prophet, if the believers, if the believer woman came to you and asked for bay'ah, then give them the bay'ah. Treating them the same as men. There is no difference between the two. And here what Islam has taught us. You see that the Khalifa in the position of Khilafah in the government, but Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam comes and challenges him. Tells him, you have taken my property under what? What is your pretext? Challenging the ruler. When did that happen? 1400 years ago. أَفِي كِتَابِ اللَّهِ تَرِثُ أَبَاكَ وَلَا أَرِثُ أَبِي. It's telling him, the ruler at the time, the Khalifa, a woman comes and challenges him in front of everyone, and she demands for her right. Another incident, one day Umar ibn al-Khattab, the second Khalifa, has said that the dowry is too much. Women are asking for too much for a dowry. Therefore, anyone who puts so much dowry to get married, and the dowry is so heavy, so high, I will prevent that and I will take the money back. One lady stood in the middle of masjid and told him, by which rule you say? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Quran, if you give them qantar, a big load of golds and jewelry, you're not entitled to take it away from them. Under which rule, which pretext you say no? At that time he stopped. And he said, كُلُّ النَّاسِ أَفْقَهُ مِنْكَ حَتَّى النِّسَاء. Even the women have more knowledge than you are. أخطأ خليفة رسول الله وأصابت امرأة. That's what he says. And so Islam never tells women that you are staying at home, at the corner of your home. In fact, encourage them to go outside, to seek the higher position, even in the Khilafah, to take some role in the state. But tell them one thing, that there is a difference between indecency and a freedom. And here you gotta pay attention. You are free to do your work, to do whatever you want, but we gotta be decent. But what the other side wants from you is to be indecent. And here is the difference. And Islam says no, indecency is haram. Look at the examples that Quran brings about women. How many kings have been narrated in the Holy Book, in Quran? Fir'aun, Haman, Namrud, Qarun. Those are all the evil kings, right? We had only two kings that are considered to be good. One is Sulaiman, Dawood his father, and Yusuf alayhi salam. All three were prophets. Whenever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions the kings in the Quran, He scorns them, He attacks them and insults them. But He mentions the queen. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also mentions the queen in the Holy Quran, Queen of Saba. When He mentions the Queen of Saba, He mentions her with respect, with dignity. Look at this woman. When she discusses the affair with her entourage, with her advisors, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala narrates what she has said. She said, يَا أَيُّهَا الْمَلَأُ افْتُونِي فِي أَمْرِي مَا كُنْتُ قَاطِعَةً أَمْرًا حَتَّى تَشْهَدُونَ. When the message came from Sulaiman to her that come to Palestine, the first thing she did, she delegated the issue with the rest of her cabinet. She sat down and discussed that, showing that she's an authoritative person. She's not a stubborn, she's not a dictator. That's number one. When she communicates, she said that whenever I make a decision after a good deliberation. I make sure that everyone agrees, then I make a decision. The second, Quran tells how long vision she had. She said, إِنَّ الْمُلُوكَ إِذَا دَخَلُوا قَرْيَةً أَفْسَدُوهَا وَجَعَلُوا أَعِزَّةَ أَهْلَهَا أَذِلَّةً. Telling them we are not supposed to go to war, because war always brings trouble. Once we get invaded, then the entire country will be ruined. The entire city will be ruined. But look at the men, look at Fir'aun, look at Qarun, look at Haman, how short-sighted they were, and how erratic they were. And eventually, she did the best choice. Once she came to Sulaiman, she declared Islam. قالت رب إني ظلمت نفسي